Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Adrian Psycho, and this is going to be another comparing the best. Not necessarily the best, but hey, whatever, that's the title of the series. Comparing the best episode that was, that, well, let's face it, I've been ignoring it for the past couple months, so, now that I've finally decided to go ahead and do another one of these episodes, in the last episode, I think it was between whatever, I forget what it was between, to be honest with you, but I do remember that the top rated comment was the Anaconda Black versus the Desert Eagle, so I was like, hey, why not go ahead and do that? So, right, the Desert Eagle versus the Anaconda Black. Now, to start us off, let's go ahead and discuss these two pistols separately, and then we'll compare their pros and cons and see which one is a better pistol. The Desert Eagle, let's start with that first. For 1 day, it costs 650 GP. For 7 days, it costs 3185 GP. And it is unlocked at Master Sergeant 3, so it's a much higher rank requirement to unlock than the Anaconda Black requires. Its ammo count is very, very low, at only 7 rounds in the magazine and only 1 more magazine in reserve, so your ammo count's going to be pretty low. For its stats, the damage is a 70, so it's going to be a 2-shot kill most of the time, unless you're at really far ranges. Portability is 85, so it's not that bad, surprisingly enough, but it's still a lot more portable than most of your other weapons, but definitely not as portable as your spammable pistol like the, G23 and whatnot. The rate of fire is at a measly 11 because of its high damage. You know, he's got to offset that damage with low rate of fire. Its accuracy is at 61, and the recoil is at 66. Now, the Desert Eagle is technically a fully automatic pistol. People have grilled me on that, like saying, "Oh, you know, Asian, you know, the G18 Cobra wasn't the first fully automatic pistol. The Desert Eagle is." Her. Yes, I know you can hold down the trigger and it'll keep firing away at it at your opponent, but still, for all practical purposes and intentions, the Desert Eagle is not really a fully automatic pistol because of its extremely low rate of fire. I mean, that certainly comes in handy when you do feel like you need to spray with the Desert Eagle. The fully automatic function does come in handy, so all you need to do is just hold down the left trigger, and all you need to do is just focus on aiming your reticle, your reticle at your opponent, so your bullets will hit. But for me personally, whenever I use the Desert Eagle, I don't hold down the left click and just let my deagle spray away. I try to, aim my shots and then click whenever I feel like I have the shot before me. So, yeah, that's that, and that's the Desert Eagle for you. Now moving on to the Anaconda Black. The Anaconda Black is a revolver. It's the first revolver you unlock as Status Sergeant 2, so compared to the Desert Eagle, the rank requirement is a lot easier, or it's a lot more accessible because of its very low rank requirement. The Anaconda Black does cost 550 GP for a day and 2,695 GP for a week, so it is cheaper than the Desert Eagle. Its ammo, it's got 6 rounds in the chamber. I want to say it's not a magazine, but in the barrel, and 12 rounds in reserve. So right away you get a lot more. Well, I shouldn't say a lot more, but you do get quite a few more bullets in the Anaconda Black. You get 4 more bullets, so it's only 4 more bullets, but you'd be surprised how much 4 more bullets will last you, especially because of the fact that this is a revolver and it's not one of those spammable pistols, So there you go. Moving on to the statistics, the Anaconda Black has a 70 damage rating, so it's the same as the Desert Eagle. The portability is at a 90, so it is more portable than the Deagle, and its portability is on par with other pistols like the M92FS, G23, what have you. Rate of fire is at 12, so it fires slightly faster than Desert Eagle by technical terms. Accuracy is much higher at 65, so 4 points more accurate than the Desert Eagle, and the recoil is at a whopping 70, so that's 4 more points than the Desert Eagle. Kind of strange, because you think that the Desert Eagle would have more recoil, but nope, the Anaconda Black has more. And because the Anaconda Black is classified by Recommerce Wiki as a double action firing mode mechanism. In other words, this is a semi-automatic pistol. You're gonna have to click for each shot. So there you go. And it seems that you cannot customize the Anaconda Black. However, you can, you can't put any modifications on the Anaconda Black, whereas on the Desert Eagle, you can modify it by putting on magazine modifications. Let's see. The Desert Eagle. So let's talk about a few quirks that the Desert Eagle has. I have already mentioned this in the review of the Desert Eagle, but before in the past, the Desert Eagle was once so strong that you could potentially one-shot people to the back. This was very, very common amongst light vesters and recon vesters, where the Desert Eagle could easily one-shot someone to the back of a light vester. It had a slight chance of tanking on the backs of medium vesters. It didn't really work on heavy vesters. There was a slight chance of one-shotting heavy vesters, but you had to be pretty lucky. But since then, Nexon has nerfed it, so the Desert Eagle is no longer a one-shot kill to the back of not even light vessels anymore, so that kind of sucks. That took away a lot of the popularity of the Desert Eagle because let's face it, both these pistols are very tough pistols to use because of the fact that they have large hipfire spreads, they have slow rates of fire, and you need to be accurate with them, otherwise you're not gonna do well with them. So there you go. The Anaconda Black, for its part, there is a slightly strange quirk about this gun in that when you fire, it does not fire immediately. There is a split-second delay when you click your left click button, and when your gun in-game actually fires. There is a slight delay. It's not your mouse, but it's the gun itself. I don't know why Nexon did that. Maybe because potentially they thought it would make the Anaconda Black overpowered. But to be honest with you, most people don't really use revolvers anyway. Well, except for now, there's an event going on that involves Confederate the Wild West revolvers. But who the fuck cares? Anyways, most people don't use revolvers, so I don't really see Nexon's reasoning behind putting a slight firing delay on the Anaconda Black. It just really doesn't make much sense to me, especially when its other variants don't have that same firing delay, like the Anaconda Black 8-inch. I believe even the Anaconda Silver doesn't even have that firing delay either. I think the Anaconda Black, the GP standard one, may be the only variant in its family to have such a firing mechanism delay. So I really don't understand why it's there, but that's one of the reasons why it's not very popular, because it's not an instantaneous response. You need to kind of lead your shot, so to speak, with the Anaconda Black. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to hit. If you use the Anaconda Black, if you jump into a game with the Anaconda Black equipped, thinking that it's going to act like a normal gun, it's not. You're going to be very much so mistaken, because it's not going to fire as fast as you want it to, or as instantaneously as you want to. You're not going to be. You can't go up to you can't go into a gunfight with the expectation that it's going to fire on command, like as with most other pistols. It's not going to do that. That's not how this gun works. So there you go. You need to kind of lead your shot, and that's where the kind of skill aspect comes into handy, or it comes to play with an Anaconda Black. You need to know, you need to have the skill that's adequate enough to either lead your shot, so you can kind of predict when the Anaconda Black's exactly going to fire, or track your target so that track your target for at least a little bit longer, like a split second longer, so you can land your bullet on your enemy. So, one other pro that the Anaconda Black offers over the Desert Eagle is that the hipfire spread on the Anaconda Black is significantly better than it is on Desert Eagle. Desert Eagle's hipfire spread is absolutely horrendous. Even while crouching, you will not be very accurate, but crouching with the Desert Eagle is about the best you can get. The Anaconda Black's hipfire spread while standing is just about as big as the Eagle's hipfire spread while crouching. So if that gives you a good idea of what that looks like, then there you go. Overall, the Anaconda Black is much more accurate in terms of hipfire spread than the Desert Eagle is. But for the Desert Eagle's part, what the Desert Eagle has over the as a pro over the Anaconda Black is that the recoil is much lower. Or I shouldn't say just the recoil kickback is much lower. The Desert Eagle has a very stable, I mean, you might think that, oh, it's a Desert Eagle, that must mean that the recoil is very high. Not necessarily so. The recoil kickback is pretty high for pistols, but it's not high at all when you compare it to the Anaconda Black. The Anaconda Black, when you shoot that thing, it literally will bounce your screen up like a couple inches. That's how high the recoil is. I know I'm kind of exaggerating it, but if you use it in tandem with the Desert Eagle and you fire both of them at once, you will definitely know the difference. Especially with the view kick on the Anaconda Black, where your actual guy, when you shoot it, his hands will actually shake upwards. Like that's how much recoil the game's trying to portray. So that in itself is kind of like a visual kind of placebo effect, kind of that will make you think that the Anaconda Black has a lot more recoil than it really does, and that in turn translates to real recoil because your view kick shakes while you fire the Anaconda Black. Therefore, it makes you think that the revolver has a lot more recoil. And whether or not you think my words are true, it doesn't matter. The Anaconda Black still has a lot more recoil than the Desert Eagle. So there's where the Desert Eagle kind of has this advantage over the Anaconda Black. So overall, now that we've analyzed some pros and cons between these two pistols, and we've discussed like the general overviews of these two pistols, which one do I think is better? With all honesty, that I can see, the Desert Eagle, I'm gonna have to go with the Desert Eagle as a better pistol. Sure, it'll cost you more, and sure it'll let's see, it's some of its stats may not be as superior to the Anaconda Blacks, but to be perfectly honest with you, I really think that the Desert Eagle is a lot easier to use than the Anaconda Black, because what ultimately leads to the Anaconda Black's downfall, the biggest reason why, is because of the Anaconda Black's firing delay. It's just way too confusing to try to master, and for normal players who just play this game just for fun and not play as much as I do or other people might, they're not going to get used to Anaconda Black. They're going to be very confused by it and wonder, hey, why is this gun not firing right as I want it to? The Desert Eagle does not have that problem. If that problem for the Anaconda Black were to be fixed, I would be led to believe that the Anaconda Black would be a much more competitive pistol as the like the Desert Eagle, or it would make it as competitive as the Desert Eagle would be. But that firing delay, man, it just gets on my nerves really easily. So I'm not really too sure, really. I mean, it was nice that Nexon gave everyone a 30-day Anaconda Blast just for laughs, but who's going to be able to use it well? I mean, lately I don't even see very many people go around using Anaconda Black. Well, that's because Nexon gives everyone those free portable weapons anyway, but I mean, the Anaconda Black is just really hard to use. The Desert Eagle, even though it has a larger hipfire spread, I feel like it's much more easier to use, and also the recoil is much more manageable on top of that. And also, it's fully automatic, so if you really wanted to, you could just hold down a trigger and just keep blasting away with that thing, and hopefully hit someone. So there you go. It doesn't matter about low ammo count or if it has less accuracy or not. I mean, the recoil, as long as you can actually see what you're shooting at, and not have recoil completely jar your aim, then that's all you need basically. And portability, I mean, the Desert Eagle is still really portable. I mean, 85, that's still a lot more portable than your normal assault rifle or something like that. And the rate of fire too. I mean, 1 point less accuracy or rate of fire, it's not gonna hurt you in the long run, or it's not gonna hurt you that much. So there you go. And on top of that, another thing that I like about the Desert Eagle is that because it has only 14 rounds, what you could do is put an Extended Mag 2 on it, and then that way you have 14 rounds and you never have to reload ever. That's another thing about the Anaconda Black, is that the reload speed is painfully slow. Like, my god, how long could you take to reload that fucking thing? The Desert Eagle Black, or the Desert Eagle, even if you don't have any extended mags on it, it still reloads really quickly. I mean, that being said, it's a magazine-fed gun, whereas the Anaconda Black is a barrel-fed magazine. But still, the animation, the reloading animation shows your character putting all the bullets in at once. So it shouldn't take that long if your character's skilled enough to do that. I mean, with the other variants, that problem is fixed. But I mean, the Desert Eagle is. I'm just gonna have to go with the Desert Eagle. There's no question about it. It's Anaconda Black. While it feels like the damage profile on the Anaconda Black is much more consistent, the Desert Eagle is just too good to pass up. So, sorry, Anaconda Black fans, but I'm gonna have to go with the Desert Eagle on this one. And yeah, that's about it. anyways, guys, thanks for watching, and I hope you guys leave your suggestions for the next episode of this comparing the best series. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you guys later.